This wedding was an assignment for my Religion 2 class in Catholic school.
This one's wife, the Uninvitables. Hello, I'm hgtudor. Some of you may be aware of a British band called EMF. They had prominence in the early 1990s. They came from Cinderford in Gloucestershire. And they had a song which was called Unbelievable. But it's been reworked as follows in relation to this one's wife. You burden me with your pestering. You'd have me invite you inside. You're always asking when you'll go to the Oscars, but you don't listen to my advice. You say to me I don't get you invited, that I'm incompetent and a fool. These events that say no, I have realised. I'm going to give up and leave you. The BS, you say. Your entitlement just gives you away. The shite, you say. You're uninvitable. And repeat. Ooh, you're uninvitable. And yes, that is the label that has been attached to this one's wife, according to Nathan Kay, the royal correspondent of the Daily Express. For, Nathan writes, Prince Harry and this one's wife labelled the Uninvitables by pals, leaving couple fuming. Yes, not just irritated and annoyed, they're fuming. Prince Harry and this one's wife have been given the title of the Uninvitables by friends after being snubbed. I wonder if it was a brutal snub. Snubbed from a number of key social events in recent years. According to a source close to the couple's London set, talk amongst high society is that the Sussexes are being deliberately left off guest lists for fear that they too could be tarred with the same brush. No shit, Sherlock. What a surprise. Harry and this one's wife are being left off guest lists for friends' weddings and other events due to their estrangement from the royal family, said the source. There is genuine fear that if the Sussexes are invited to a wedding or a christening, it could leave that family excluded from the social circle, which would be one of the biggest faux pas imaginable. They are being called the Uninvitables by friends. Now, there are two immediate points that arise from this. The first is that people recognise that because of the rift between Harry and this one's wife and the rest of the royal family, that if you are involved with the gruesome twosome, you risk then not being invited to major social events involving the royal family. Thus, it's a no-brainer. Do I want to be invited by the king and queen to that particular garden party? Do I want to go to that high society wedding? Do I want to go to that christening involving the cream of London society? Or would I rather hang out with a drugged-up ginger and his jam-scamming wife? Let me think about that for a picosecond. You know what? I think I will choose high society rather than hank and skank. The other aspect that arises from this, of course, is it's solely a consequence of the behaviour of Harry and this one's wife. Nobody has tarnished them or labelled them gratuitously, despite what some members of the Sussex squad will try and convince you. It's based on the way that they behave. It isn't envy that they are #living their best life, or envy at the fact that they have freed themselves from the shackles of that colonial racist institution that is the monarchy, but rather people can see that they have generally annoyed people, that they don't like the way that they've shat on family, both sides of their family. They don't like the way that they've told lies. They don't like the way that they've sought to leverage their royal status for commercial opportunities. They don't like the way that they have decided that they're better than other people and they've courted celebrity. And thus, solely based on the behaviours that Harry and this one's wife have chosen to engage in themselves, nobody made them do this. They chose. Harry, of course, as a consequence of the awful illusion, that the shared fantasy that was created for him he's been drawn into. But nevertheless, he still made a choice, and this one's wife made that choice driven by her narcissism. Nobody held a gun to their head and said, you must leave the royal family. No one said to them, you need to go and live in Canada or else. Nobody said, piss off, go to America and seek your fortune there, we don't want you. They chose to go. Naturally, because of the victim nature of her narcissism, she tried to spin it as if she was forced out, that she had no choice but to leave, because people were big meanies to her. They wouldn't take her seriously, and they didn't listen when she wasn't feeling too good. The fact is, they made those choices to depart. And now, as is invariably the case, and I point out to you so often, she's now reaping what she sowed. The collateral consequence of her behaviour is that they have got the status of the Uninvitables. It was reported earlier this year, for instance, that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex had been excluded from the guest list from his lifelong friend Hugh Grosvenor's wedding to Olivia Henson. Naturally, the Sussexes spun it as, we decided not to go because we didn't want to cause problems. Bullshit. Prince William ended up being an usher at the wedding held in Chester Cathedral on June the 7th, which was said to have left Harry fuming. There was, very much apparently, a sense of confusion over whether he, Harry, was uninvited or turned it down because William had been asked to be an usher, said the source. Either way, Harry was fuming. He had also been a close friend of Hugh's for many years, and they even went travelling to Africa together. Last week, the Express revealed that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex had not been invited to Balmoral to join the rest of the royal family this summer. According to a well-placed source, the Sussexes have been left off the official guest list for the firm's August summit, so that King Charles and Kate, Princess of Wales, can enjoy family time following a difficult year. It's also the case that they don't get invited to the Oscars or to the Emmys, that the only events that they get to go to are ones where their PR people have reached out first and basically stated, look, if we buy an award, they can come along and give you some extra publicity. How about it? Nobody actually wants them there because they are concerned, for instance, that private conversations will be sold for money by this one's wife and Harry. That they don't want an individual turning up who will instinctively, because of her narcissism, seek to make it all about her and upstage the bride or the child whose christening it is, or whatever event it might be. Their past familial indiscretions are such that not only are they uninvitable in relation to the royal family, but further afield, people see the way that they have behaved, and they don't like it. And thus, this one's wife and Harry have found themselves uninvitable. What is, of course, hilarious is the fact that this is driven by their behaviour. But this one's wife, of course, won't be able to see that. She will simply see it as cruel and nastiness, that it is vindictive racism on the part of people not to invite them to events. They will see it as the royal family briefing against them to ensure that high society is turned against them, that somehow King Charles has managed to permeate the academy and said, don't invite them, you know, they're a pair of utter rascals, that he has made it his business to infiltrate every awards ceremony and prestigious event in the United States to say to them, whatever you do, don't invite gruesome twosome. The fact is, King Charles has got more important things to do, but the paranoia of this one's wife would lead her to believe that that is the case. What is clear is that they are uninvitable. This, of course, infuriates a narcissist because her sense of entitlement tells her she should be invited to everything, and the failure of being invited to something wounds her. But what she can't grasp is that she caused this situation herself. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.